We will now go to item number 9, contract for cell service with T-Mobile, evaluate and consider. Annette?
I spoke with Dave Beeler. He is our regional representative that they've assigned to our account rather than dealing with the other two on a little bit lower level. And he has sent this little note he's asked me to read to you. Commissioners, I know I wasn't part of the team that sold your account, but I'm here now to support and help manage your account in every way. We do value your business and want only the best service and equipment for your needs. We shipped out different equipment and saw improvement with some of the users. So the next step would be to order and replace equipment that works for you. So if you do stay with us, that will be our next action item. Please consider all of the benefits T-Mobile brings, such as value, products, service, and network in your decision. I will understand if some or all of your users need to make a change. So, and that's sincerely from Dave Beeler. I experienced a bit of a change with the new phone that they sent. I know the commissioner has expressed that she did not have any change with her service. We sent one of the test phones with a sheriff deputy, and he said it didn't do any different. The phone that they sent didn't show any difference between the last phone that they sent. And I did send it with the road guys, and they did not see any difference either. So they are still willing to send different phones to try, or I know the sheriff said he likes the phone, but the service is still spotty and has issues. So I did get the BlackBerry situation taken care of with Linda Kaiser, the county clerk, and she's happy and content. So we're kind of still in the middle as far as that goes. So I did ask the road department to see what they have budgeted for their road guys to carry the phones. They did not budget for the data service plan to carry the upgraded phone, but we can always work it out. Okay, it's completely in your hands.
Okay, thank you, Annette. We're now at the table. Again, we'll begin with Commissioner Freiberger. What is your take on this issue, sir?
Is T-Mobile saying that they are still working, maybe looking at booster towers or something to give us better service?
They did, yes, sir. They called and said, even in Bahia, that they would be willing to put the towers, yes, if we choose to stay with them.
Well, you know, it's kind of, for me, it's kind of, if we're saying that we'll stay with them, or do you think that they will actually fulfill their promise that they will put the booster towers in?
I believe they would, yes.
I would give them 30 days to show us some type of progress, or tell them that we need to have a meeting and let them explain an action plan.
Okay, thank you. Okay, thank you, Commissioner. Commissioner Tapia?
We're saving a significant amount of money with that.
As it was proposed, yes. If we look at getting more expensive phones with the data plan, then we're kind of backwards ourselves.
Well, I mean, coverage is the issue. I mean, having a nicer phone isn't an issue. Being able to make the call is going to be the issue. They can provide that service, and we've already gone this far with them. So everybody's already waited. I don't know. I don't have the phone, so if you're willing to waive, and whoever else has the phones, if they're willing to give it, like Lonnie said, an extra 30 days and give them an opportunity to put towers up or whatever, then I'm okay with that. But if you're tired and you're dying and you just want to move forward, then that's what we need to do.
Okay, my opinion on this matter is I do have a county-issued cell phone. The service where I live is not acceptable in my opinion. Again, I live in the mountain community, so I'm pretty much accustomed to knowing that, you know, in the mountains you're not always going to have service. However, I'm going to be getting my own service, so it's not going to really affect me. However, I don't want the staff that does have a county-issued phone to experience a time of no service, especially like Martine. He works in the mountain community all of the time. That's his district, and when calls aren't going through, he could be perceived as not wanting to respond to the constituents not wanting to, if you're not in the service area, you don't even get it on your missed call log unless they actually leave you a message. So I would really like to not wait the additional 30 days. I would prefer that either we rebid it and give everyone an opportunity to bid on it again, and at that time, depending on who would be able to meet the bid requirements, actually prove that we would be able to have the service that we need, and also a good price drop as well. But I just think it's so important, the people that do carry phones, sheriff's department, the road department, just everyone needs a good provider. So that's kind of where I stand. I would like us to take some type of different action unless T-Mobile is willing to port the numbers back to Plateau until they are able, within 30 days, to provide the service that we need.
My understanding, some of the deputies have been putting their SIM cards in some old phones, and I think the service is better, is what I'm hearing, excuse me, from Michelle. But T-Mobile's asking that we get them the model numbers of the phones that are working and the service is better, so that they can try shipping them to us also. So we're trying, it's just, here we are.
And then, are they fulfilling their obligation of the contract?
As far
Did we
as
ask for good service?
their proposal is concerned, no. I mean, the coverage area, but it's, what we're running into is people who carry T-Mobile personally have service. We don't. So we're still in that, they still believe it to be the phones.
I told them to step up to the plate. They knew what the proposal was. They proposed that they would fulfill it. And if they can't step up to the plate, but Madam Chair, I would say let's go out for bid and make sure that we adhere, the contractors adhere to what we want. They're servicing us, we're not servicing them.
We do have two of the staff that have phones are in the audience. The sheriff. Tracy, do you have one?
No, ma'am.
Steve, do you have one?
No, I use my own. Dan has one.
And what is your opinion on DAM service? Is it spotty? Is it
Spotty, very spotty.
I mean, we can rebid it, and I know that, if I was in the manager's office, I might have the thought that, okay, we're going to rebid it, and we're going to be at the exact same place because T-Mobile is going to always get where AT&T gets, or where Plateau gets, or Verizon, or Sprint. Everybody provides different coverage, but I think that we need to figure out who provides the best coverage. So, Sheriff White?
Is there a way, if you do go back to proposal, to get a sample phone from each network that either the sheriff's department, the road department, we could all take for a day or two and see what kind of coverage that they actually provide, and that's where we're hands on. That we could give feedback to you saying, this phone works a lot better than a T-Mobile, or T-Mobile is the best, or AT&T is.
Okay.
Somewhat in the proposal.
Thank you, Sheriff. Betty, did you have anything you want to say on this?
I just kind of wanted to put in a thought. Of course, I used to work at the phone company, and I worked for 10 years for US West, which became Verizon. And one of the things is, and you mentioned it, Madam Chairman, that you aren't going to have there's no perfect system out there. They all offer different things, and they all have different coverage areas. And I find even after, as long as I've been away from it, it's still issues in the same places, even in Albuquerque, and there's still issues with all of them. So my biggest concern was I didn't realize, because coming from working with large accounts like Intel, providing service for them when I was working there, and there was a person, and I know the world's changed since then, because that was back in the 90s, so the world's changed since then, but someone brought the phones to you. Someone went through and they had training classes with everybody and taught you how to use the phones, and they were there and they watched us and we followed them around, and we were there for 2 or 3 days or a week or whatever, trying to make sure that everything was working, and if somebody had a problem, they could come in because a certain rep was sitting there, and I could, what happened, what was wrong, let's see if the programming is right or wrong. Good old-fashioned customer service. And I was really surprised that they shipped the phones to us and we really didn't have a contact, a face-to-face contact. And so that's one thing that the sheriff says that I think would be a really good idea. Say, hey, we need to try these out. And if you want to come out and go with us, if you don't want us to just have the phones, I think that's something that should be considered. The other thing was there was an article in the newspaper the other day, and I have not been hearing anything. AT&T is trying to buy out T-Mobile. I'm thinking that's good, but then on the other hand, after I read that the other day, it was a letter saying that we need the Attorney General to get involved because several states, the Attorney Generals have already filed suit against, I guess, AT&T over this buyout because they felt that they were not doing it legitimately and there was some underhandedness and there was some problems. I did not read the whole article in the Journal, and it was written to say our Attorney General needs to get involved in that too. I don't know when that merger is supposed to happen. The big thing was the rural areas of the United States are the ones that get left out. I was going to use another word, but I'm not going to. It was even going to be a nice word, but I still didn't know how it would sound. So that with that, and that's the thing too about a contract and the length of the contract and what they provide for us, because it indicated that they were going to be, that the rural areas would suffer, there would be less competition, and the prices would go up because, again, still, rural areas are not profitable to cell phone companies. And the cost of a tower, and that's always been, from 1990, whenever I became in the cellular part of the business, it was always the profitability that if you put a cell tower out in the middle of Torrance County, how many accounts are you going to have to get your money back on that cell tower because of the cost of cell towers? And we know from Dorothy how expensive, how much money they're making off of T-Mobile, I think, using the cell tower over at Dispatch. And I don't really have an answer. I just wanted to bring those thoughts up. And I don't know. I don't know if there is a good answer. And again, I think maybe not put, I don't know if we could do, I don't know if as a government entity, if we could go and say, hey, we're reconsidering. Can we use your phones, Verizon? Can we use your phones? Can we use your phones and see how they are and then put it back out to bid, or if that would have to be part of the bid process? That part of it I don't understand. But at least, if nothing else, that would give everybody a peace of mind and say, like the sheriff did say, maybe T-Mobile is our best bet. But I think we should demand somebody to be here in person.
Thank you, Betty. Okay, just maybe some feedback from George, and then I'd like to ask Joy what she would recommend, and then we'd go to council for their opinion as well. So go ahead, George.
I was just going to say on the AT&T service, my husband works for FDIC, and he's doing data and telephone. And we've got a metal roof on our house, and you know where we're living. We're in the same kind of zone you are, and he doesn't miss a lick up there anywhere except for when he comes through the canyon. That's the only time his service drops out here. So that's the federal government, that's using that service. So I don't know if that has any difference or not, but they do a lot of security things with their setup as well. And his works great. It doesn't miss a lick. But it's not the fancy phones. It's not the texty models. It's more of a plain Jane standardized phone. And that may be part of the entire issue. If y'all are trying to do all the data and so forth instead of straight up phone, that could be the entire issue. The newer phones, I just changed back over and I went back to Plateau. I had Verizon, and they just flat don't work out here. I see people stop. I see them on the side of the road, and I ask them, are you having trouble? No, I just have T-Mobile, and this is the only place I got signal. So I don't know if it's the newer phones and all the advanced technology. They talk the 2, 3G, 3, 4G coverage area. When I just changed over phones, I'm hearing it's available, but not out here. 2G is the max is what I'm hearing. So some of the services that T-Mobile can provide beyond this area probably are, rocking, but a lot of it just flat isn't going to work out here because the technology's not here. Just like Betty's saying, go back to tower shares and stuff.
Well, I think too, when we were going through the bid process, I think that's what Stephen Birdwell was trying to tell us. Was that even though you're going with these bigger companies, you're still not going to have the service that we're looking for. And I don't know, at that time, I didn't comprehend what he was trying to say, but that he could provide what service we were needing, even though it was a little bit more money, or even, I wasn't just a little bit, it was quite a bit more money. But I think that's what he was trying to tell us, was it doesn't matter, you can be saving money, but you're still not going to have service because of the towers not being up there. So,
And something that has come to light between the time that the proposal was agreed upon and now is, I guess there was an agreement between T-Mobile and Plateau, and that agreement is no longer in existence. So where we were roaming and feeding off of the Plateau towers, they no longer are doing that. So that's also a difference.
Okay. Joy, do you have any comment on this?
I don't know. It frustrates me because I have a fancy 4G phone and T-Mobile service, and I have service everywhere. My phone works, but so I don't know. I mean, I guess it doesn't matter if it's free if it doesn't work. But we were talking about we went with the lowest bidder that gave us the most bang for our buck at the time. So I don't. Whatever you guys want to do, it doesn't make any difference to me. My phone works because I use my own phone. So.
I know the prison uses AT&T, the school uses Plateau, so, I've tried to compare, ask different people, what do you use, George?
I had one more question, and I didn't really hear it answered when y'all were going through the original process to make the move. With the T-Mobile, are they paying gross receipts back into the county coffers with the billings that the county's paying? Is there any gross receipts revenue generated? I mean, to me, that's a finite point, but if like we have a local business that can provide that service, and if they are, paying taxes into the coffer, that ought to be part of the consideration point as well, because you're supporting a local business, even though they may be more, they're giving back, for you working with them. So I'd never heard, or I didn't catch, that as part of the discussion originally either.
Okay. I don't have that answer. Is there somebody that has that answer?
Neither did Plateau.
Okay.
They're not local.
Okay.
But they're New Mexico based though.
Brandon, do you have thoughts on this? As far as the legality of if we were to rebid, can we get out of the contract? Could we put together an RFP that was so specific that we would even get some response?
Well, I don't know what kind of response you might get, but this RFP to which you accepted T-Mobile, I think, intended to deal with it. If I remember, I think it said you had to have 3 bars countywide, and their proposal said that they would meet that, and it sounds like you don't have that. So one possible option might be to, get the contract back out and see if we could say you're in breach of the agreement that you provided to us, and essentially demand that they fix it, as opposed to say, well, we're not going to keep doing business with you. There may be an option to force them to do it, or to at least try to. As far as getting out, I think by not providing you the service that they offered, they're in breach. So I think you could get out, and if they wanted to sue you, they obviously could, but we feel pretty comfortable defending that case if need be.
Okay. All right, so we now have, again, all of our opinions on the table. We took public comment and comment from county employees and elected officials and the manager's office. So I think that we need to make a decision. And Commissioner Freiberger, would you still like to wait the 30 days and contact them and say they are in breach of their contract? Commissioner Tapia as well. Is that kind of where you guys would like to start, or how shall we proceed collectively?
I would like to take a firm stand and just tell them they have 30 days to meet everything in the proposal, and if
Commissioner Tapia?
I think that's the best way to move forward. And then if there's still, if there's nothing done, and, I mean, if they're just saying that it's the phones, then maybe we need to go downgrade and just go back to the plain Jane phones.
Well, the initial phones that they sent were the plain Jane.
And those didn't work
don't
either.
work for the deputies. But I was just speaking to Michelle, she has T-Mobile, and her phone works great. So I got the model number off of this phone. I got another model number today from somebody else. And I'll call them tomorrow and they can get me those phones or come out and bring them, something.
Well, I like Betty, I would agree that I think that we need to have a representative on site that is going to stay on site until it's corrected. I know Plateau had a rep that had came to a commission meeting in the past, and I would like to request that Martine's phone or any other phone that's not currently having any bars at all that say SOS be ported back to Plateau until they can provide some kind of service. Or, the option that you gave me on the wireless. If in the meantime there'd be some kind of mobile router that he could carry in his vehicle until, I just want him and everyone else that has a phone to have the ability to make a call. So, who would like to make that in the form of a motion? Commissioner Freiberger, would you like to do that?
So moved.
That's good. How do you like that one, Michelle?
It would be better, to be honest, if one of you ladies made the motion, because I'm not sure how much I'm going to pick up.
Okay. I move then that we inform T-Mobile in writing through council that they are in breach of their contract and we would like to give them 30 days to correct the problem. We'd also like to request that a rep be on site in order to correct the problem. And at the end of those 30 days, if we do not have this resolved, that we would like to rebid our phone service. Okay, is that adequate for all commissioners? Okay, so I will make that in the form of a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Okay. Okay, Commissioner Freiberger will second. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes. There are none in opposition. So, can you just continue to update us as we get progress on this? And I know this has taken a tremendous amount of time away from your regular duties, and we appreciate it, but I think we need to draw it to a close pretty quick. Okay, thank you. All right, so we are now at the end of our agenda. Is there a need for executive session?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you. As promotion and roll call vote pursuant to the New Mexico State Statute, Section 10-15-1, the following matters will be discussed in closed session. Personnel matters, threatened and pending litigation, and threatened litigation. Is there a motion to go into executive session? And I'll second. It's been moved and seconded. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye. Aye. This does require a roll call vote. District 1?
Yes.
District 2?
Yes.
District 3? Yes, we are now in executive session. Thank you. Okay, I'd like to have a motion to come out of executive session. And I'll second. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye. Aye. In executive session, we discussed threatened and pending litigation. At this time, I would like to request a motion to adjourn. And I'll second. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Motion passes. We are now adjourned. Thank you.